Lip ties on a beat.
So welcome to another episode of Inspire Africa LA. I'm your host, Olivia Ejiofor. Please welcome today's guest, Mrs. Dallas Fowler. How are you doing this evening?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Olivia. I'm very excited to talk. I love what you are doing, the programming you're doing for Africans and African diaspora across LA is wonderful, and I'm happy to be here. Talk to you.
With this position, you will also be making history with this position, being the first African American woman in the 10th Council District, correct?
I would be the first woman.
The first woman
to represent the 10th Council District.
Absolutely. So how would that feel for you, making history?
Oh, it would be phenomenal. Listen, there were a lot of women who have tried to do this, and we are going to keep trying till we crack that ceiling wide open. And so I know I'm standing on the shoulders of many wonderful, powerful community activists to get to this point. Yeah.
What are your plans for, these communities?
Well, I'll say this. I think the number one issue that folks are really concerned about right now is our homelessness and affordable housing. And too many folks that look like you and I are dealing with this homeless crisis, and we need to do the work to get them off the streets right away. And so I'm willing to put together innovative ideas as well as things that are really practical to help folks get off the street. Thousands of people get off the street right away and start getting the supportive services that they need. I'm also really committed to making available or developing up to 5,000 affordable units in our district. Black women particularly, we've got over 70,000 black women and girls missing in this country, and we have to do the work to ensure that we have safe environments for them and they are prepared to protect themselves as well. So I want to do that work for us as well.
And speaking on that issue, what advice do you have for women? Because that was shocking. These numbers are shocking. The fact that it's not on our local news right now and no one's talking about it, what advice do you have for them?
We had an issue recently here in Leimert Park where a woman was screaming for her life, and the video of it was captured of someone's front porch video cam. And we see these things and they're happening every day, but I don't think we realize how close it is to us until it happens, and so we've got to be more aware and making sure our young people are aware, and women and young boys are aware, because some of the victims that I was able to help place in safe houses were young boys as well. And so we have to really ensure that we are doing the work to educate our communities and community organizations to, on one, how to be alert and how to recognize when it's a bad situation, and also how to do a little self-defense.
Absolutely.
That's also critical.
You're in an industry that's male-dominated. What has been the biggest struggle for you, in this field and being an African-American woman?
I think, I've worked in male-dominated industries, right? I've worked in construction, I worked in financial services, and I can't say you come out unscathed in that process. But at the same time, I think there are ways for us to persevere no matter what. You really have to keep your eye on the prize. No matter what you see around you, the things that are happening, whether, especially as a campaign, you have your highs and lows. You have your interviews that are like, yes, I killed it on that one. But then you have the interviews like, where was I? I checked out. What happened? And so I think it's just important not to be so hard on yourself, but just to do your best every single time. And I think that the thing that's the hardest is raising money. It's really hard for black women to raise money in politics. People see us and they know we're trying to do the right thing, but they just think, oh, I don't have enough. If I can't make that max contribution, then I just don't do anything at all. But that's not true. Sending $5, sending $10, every little bit helps, and we do appreciate it. Send $5 checks to women running for sheriff or district attorney all across the country, because I know the impact of what that means to just have something,
And speaking on that, our community, some of us are a little bit confused about this area. We don't really hear too much about it. We hear about our presidential elections. What do you want the people to know about this, getting into the city council area? How does this area affect them? Because people don't really know how this area affects them.
Listen, there are things happening to you every day, and it is because of the people that you have elected to represent you. And everybody that looks like you is not necessarily voting or doing the things that adequately represent you. So it's really important that we pay attention to this. And I think now we're at a pace where we can't continue in Los Angeles to elect the same people over and over again and keep getting the same results. At some point, we have to turn the corner and we have to start electing new leadership. I didn't get into this race without polling our community and finding out, were they ready for new leadership? Over 63% of the voters, of the 2,000 voters we polled, said, yes, it's time, we want new leadership. Voting, we do vote. Let's be clear. Black women vote, black men vote, and so that's not a myth or misnomer. But I think it's making sure that our next generation carries the same torch and votes. And so that's what we all can be doing, is just getting out and understanding that the local level is what hits you first.
Right.
So knowing who your city council member is, knowing who your state representatives are really going to be critical and pivotal. And it's just important if you're in business, or even if you're just you're not as civically engaged, but you want to know that, hey, there's a law that's impacting me. Don't be afraid to call your member's office. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. And to get involved with my campaign, you can go to dallasfowler.com, or you can also email me at df@dallasfowler.com.
Thank you so much, Dallas. Before you go, let us know, a young girl who is in school, kind of confused, but a little bit interested in politics, what advice do you have for her?
Civic engagement, community engagement is some of the most important work you'll ever do in your life. I would just say, if you're interested in running for office, or you're interested in getting prepared and learning about working on campaigns, go and volunteer. That was my earliest experience. My earliest political memory was stuffing envelopes for Jesse Jackson in '87 as a 5-year-old. You don't forget those experiences, no matter how young. But even as a teenager, just volunteering and working on campaigns and helping people, that's how you learn the process. And it's also how you start to meet the folks that are in that arena that'll help to pull you up. And then there's mentorship programs. If you are a woman who is interested in running for office, you can do Emerge California. That is a wonderful program that trains women to run for office. But in Los Angeles, there's also the Los Angeles African American Women's Public Policy Institute. We call it LAPI. And LAPI trains women. It's a 10-week course. It trains you to be prepared to serve on boards and commissions and become a commissioner. And so you don't always have to be in elected office to serve. I was a commissioner for many years, and I got to do a lot of rewarding work that I just wouldn't trade for the world to have that opportunity. So those are ways that you can do it. And to find out more about LAPI, it's LAAAWPPI.org. Okay?
Yes, and I'll make sure to tag all of that stuff below, you guys. Well, thank you so much, Dallas. It's truly been a pleasure. You're such an inspiration, the work that you're doing. You guys really take a look and see what Dallas is doing. Head to her website. She's doing incredible work. Her history, her knowledge, her impact in the community is just breathtaking. Thank you so much, Dallas.
Thank you
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you. And thank you for the work that you're doing, because, we have so many people. I just did my ancestry. I am 36% Nigerian. I am Nigerian, you guys. Okay. And I am 14% Kenyan and 3% Sierra Leone, and then the rest gets mixed up in Europe and South America. So, but I just think it's really important for us to know who we are and try to trace our ancestry as much as possible, and connect with one another throughout the diaspora. And so we have that in the 10th district, from Little Ethiopia to Leimert Park. There is a strong presence of Africans in the 10th district, and I hope you all come out and vote in March. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Dallas. All the best in your campaign.
Right, thank you.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for watching Inspire Africa LA. I'll see you next time.